Good morning, ladies. A beautiful sunny morning we have here at Grail. We'll continue kind of on from where we were last night because it does kind of build for every session. Have you done EFT before at all? Not at all. Okay. So we'll play catch up today. Maybe we can start with a couple rounds of EFT as a refresher. We'll just do a round and then we'll build on some of the other aspects here. So if even though I didn't sleep good last night, even though I feel like I've got lots on my plate today, so if there's anything that you're experiencing currently that you feel like you need to tap on, I know that's really hard when you're here at Grail because everything's so perfect and beautiful and wonderful, but we'll just do a refresher round and we'll use this feeling, and if it's a negative feeling that you can access or that you can find, feel free to tune into that. Otherwise it'll just be review because, again, my intention is for you to be able to take this tool home with you so that you understand the points. So again, starting at carotid chop point or the sore spot and the lymphatic drainage point if you prefer. Tapping on carotid chop point if you'd like. And so I'll say it and you can repeat it back. Even though I have this feeling.
Even though I have this feeling.
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Fully and completely.
Fully and completely.
Even though I have this feeling.
Even though I have this feeling.
Maybe I can choose to let it go.
Maybe I can choose to let it go.
Love and accept myself anyway.
Love and accept myself anyway.
Fully and completely.
Fully and completely.
Even though I have this feeling.
Even though I have this feeling.
Maybe I can choose to let that go.
Maybe I can choose to let that go.
Love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Fully and completely.
Fully and completely.
Good. Inner part of the eyebrow, this feeling.
This feeling.
Outside the eye, this feeling.
This feeling.
Under the eye, this feeling.
This feeling.
Under the nose, this feeling.
This feeling.
Chin point, this feeling. Collarbone point, this feeling.
This feeling.
Under the arm, this feeling.
This feeling.
Side of the thumb, right by the nail bed. Good. You got it. This feeling.
This feeling.
First finger, this feeling.
This feeling.
Middle finger, this feeling. Pinky finger, this feeling.
This feeling.
Side of the hand. Maybe I can choose to let this feeling go.
Maybe I should choose to let this feeling go.
See the situation differently.
See the situation differently.
In a more loving and compassionate light.
And more loving and compassionate light.
Good. Back of the hand, we'll do the gamut point procedure. So right between the pinky finger and the ring finger. There's going to be a quiz on Sunday before you leave. Making sure y'all got this. Close your eyes as you look ahead, and then open your eyes. Without moving your head, look down hard to the right, down hard to the left, the biggest circle that you can find, opposite direction. Good, looking forward, looking as far to the right as you can, as far to the left as you can, as far to the right. Scan in front of you to the left, and one more time. Good, back up to the inner part of the eyebrow, this feeling.
This feeling.
This feeling. This feeling. This feeling. This feeling. This feeling. This feeling. Side of the thumb, this feeling. First finger, choosing to let it go.
Choosing to let it go.
Middle finger, slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely.
Pinky finger, beginning to see the situation differently.
Beginning to see the situation differently.
Karate chop point, in a more loving and compassionate light.
In a more loving and compassionate light.
Good, top of the head, choosing to let this feeling go.
Choosing to let this feeling go.
One deep full breath at a time.
One deep full breath at a time.
Good, inhale. And exhale. Nice. I tell you've all got the pattern down because I don't even have to tell you where you're going and you all know where you're going, so that's fantastic. Questions, comments, experiences, dreams, anything from last night that you wanted to touch on?
We dreamt about work all last night, but not the situation that
we were talking about. Sometimes that happens. Whatever you're doing in the last about 4 hours before you go to sleep is often what you dream about. And so yeah, I had some interesting dreams last night as well. But sometimes before I go to sleep as well, I let my subconscious mind know, or I just say a certain phrase so that I can encourage my subconscious to do the work that it needs to do in dream state. So I just say a phrase like, subconscious mind, if there's anything unprocessed that you would like to release or that you'd like to process or let go, if there's any unresolved issues, unresolved emotions, I encourage you to do so in dream state. I will watch and observe my dreams to the best of my ability so that I can bring them forth to my conscious mind. It doesn't have to be that long and complicated. It can just be, I'm going to remember my dreams tonight. Or subconscious mind, if you want to work that out in my dream state, you go right ahead. Because it's the conscious mind that's relaxing in dream state, right? It's the subconscious that's doing all the work and all the dreaming. So it's a really nice place to let the subconscious do the work. It's the same thing that's happening when we walk the labyrinth here at Grail Springs, or it's the same thing that's happening during meditation, is you're getting the conscious thinking mind out of the way that thinks it knows how to resolve the issue, and it's letting subconscious do that.
So what happens to me though is, I dream a lot. I do remember, for the most part, I remember my dreams.
Yeah.
But then the conscious mind tries to figure out, okay, what was that all about? What was
Right.
I learning there?
Right.
What's the message?
If you remember the dreams in the morning?
Yeah.
Right. And so what the subconscious is trying to do is to bring forth to conscious mind something that's unresolved in subconscious. So that's a good thing. Like you can go to dreammoods.com or just find a dream dictionary.
Yeah, I got
And if there's a common theme that keeps coming up, sometimes it's really important to pay attention to that, right? But just inviting the mind, say, look, I'm listening, I'm watching, I'm observing, let me know what it is that you want me to work on, and let's work together with subconscious to do that. So you do have a lot of vivid dreams, it sounds like.
all the time. Every night. And I can wake up, go to the bathroom, figure it in, okay, go to bed again, do it again.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh yeah, I've had some, one night, I won't get into it, but one night it was like, and I got the answer in the morning,
Right.
and I'm doing like my kickboxing thing, and I got this other aha, it was like, oh, crack cow.
So you can do that, right? So
Yeah.
because obviously you've been working with dreams a lot and encouraging that to happen, so that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So if you take a look in your handouts, what's more of interest to you, going over the meridian points and the corresponding meridians and what they're all about? Or do you want to go over positive affirmations, tail enders, different ways to do the setup statement? Because some people get really caught up on the setup statement and the words to say as they're tapping down the points. What do you want to start with? Does anybody have a preference?
I wouldn't mind if everyone else is already too, I wouldn't mind understanding these points.
Okay. That's usually what I go to next anyway. So you're looking for the handout that says meridian points and corresponding emotions. Because remember last night we talked really briefly about the point under your eye that you're tapping is the acupuncture point that is stomach meridian. And so if you're feeling nervous or anxious, you can just tap this one point. As much as we'll repeat the sequence, like I said, you might find one point that really works well for you. Initially, the founder of EFT was Gary Craig, but Gary Craig learned about this tapping procedure from Dr. Roger Callahan. So, and Dr. Roger Callahan was into thought field therapy, where there was a specific set of points to tap depending on the issue. Okay, so that's kind of where this comes into play. Whereas Gary Craig kind of formulated the sequence of the points and the gamma point procedure and how we're just going to use that generally for no matter what's going on. You can use it for physical issues, you can use it for whatever. But prior to Gary Craig coming up with this general application for any and all emotions, it was a bit more specific prior to that. So starting with sore spot or collarbone points. So when we're pressing on this lymphatic drainage point, 3 inches down, 3 inches across, and it's kind of sore or tender, stimulating lymphatic system. That's the kidney meridian. It releases psychological reversal, which we talked about last night, and that's why we press here when we're using that setup statement, in case I want to let go of the anger, but I don't, or I want to let go of the problem, but there's an aspect of me that is kind of attached to it, right? So it releases psychological reversal, a resistance to wanting to move forward, and feeling stuck. So some sources also say indecision, worry, and general stress. So it balances and allows in instead ease and moving forward, confidence, and clarity. So if you're looking, it depends on what you're tapping on, right? You might spend a little longer on this point if that's directly related to what it is that you're tapping for or tapping on. The next part of the eyebrow is the bladder meridian. Okay, so we've tapped the inner part of the eyebrow. It releases trauma, hurt, and sadness. Some sources also say frustration, impatience, restlessness, and dread. So maybe for your instance, Barry, we were talking about, I'm kind of dreading going into work on Tuesday because you might spend a little bit longer on this acupuncture point as you're tapping, so depending on what's happening. So the eyebrows let in balances and allows in peace and emotional healing. You'll kind of find that there's some overlap between these, okay? Outside of the eye is gallbladder meridian. So it releases anger and resentment. So if you're working on a specific anger issue, you can just tap this point or spend a little longer on this point. Some sources also say it releases muddled thinking and fear of change. It balances and allows in clarity and compassion.
So just a quick question, can you, if, as you're going about your day, if you're feeling this or whatever, can you just tap there, or you
Yeah.
gotta go through the whole?
Nope, you can just tap
Just
that
tap
one
there.
point. You can just tap that one point. And like I said, my point that I like a lot is the side of the hand. So sometimes I just tap the side of my hand.
Okay.
So as much as I want you to be able to take home the whole procedure, what I find is, okay, if you like those 3 tapping points that you find works well for you, or you know you're experiencing anger and you just want to tap here, that's great. If your number isn't shifting on that scale of 1 to 10 that we talked about, then do a full round. Do all the points, do the eye movements, and then another full round of points. So I want you to have that full basic procedure so that it's always something that you can access and use. And then when in doubt, shorten it up, shorten it up, shorten it up. Okay? That's a good question, thank you. Under the eyes, stomach meridian releases fear and anxiety. Some sources also say nausea, cravings, emptiness, and disappointment. We could all just walk around and tap here all day long, can't we?
Yeah.
How are you doing today? Good, how are you? I'm fantastic. Oh, what are you working on today? Well, got a bit of anxiety. I got a bit of nausea. Awesome. Balances and allows in clarity and compassion, right? And also that being able to feel relaxed. So, or allows in contentment, calmness, and feeling safe. So. Under the nose is governing meridian, so it's one of the main channels. Releases shame and powerlessness. Some sources say it also releases embarrassment, grief, fear of ridicule, and fear of failure. Again, we could all spend some time there, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Balances and allows in self-acceptance, healthy and self-empowerment, and compassion for self and others. Okay. The chin indent, that is central meridian, so again, one of the main lines. On the PowerPoint presentation I had, there was a diagram, and you can just Google Chinese meridians and Google images, and there'll be thousands of images that will come up that if you actually want to see the energy lines in the body and how they're mapped, they have diagrams, they have actual physical replicas of it where you can actually view the meridian lines. So my Qigong teacher that I've spent years with actually had a model, which was really great to to map them so you know why we're tapping on them. And again, these are the points that are closest to the surface of the skin. So the chin indent is confusion and uncertainty. Some sources also say shame and embarrassment. It balances and allows in clarity, certainty, confidence, and self-acceptance. So a bit of an overlap, like you'll find, there's a bit of an overlap between these two because they're both main channels in the body. Collarbone points is kidney meridian again, because remember we said this was sore spot, this was kidney meridian, so this is a repeat. That's why either of those you might find the same experience. So that was psychological reversal, wanting to move forward but feeling stuck. Under the arms is spleen meridian. So it's releasing guilt, worry, and obsessing. Don't know anybody that doesn't need to spend a little bit of time there too. Some sources also say hopelessness, insecurity, and poor self-esteem. It balances and allows in clarity, confidence, relaxation, compassion for self and others. The next one is the rib points, which we don't spend too much time there because of some women it's actually uncomfortable. But it's right here. It's actually the liver meridian. So our liver's here, right? So it's right here underneath. Yeah. Nice. And so releases anger and other big primitive emotions. So some sources say unhappiness, complaining, bitterness, and survival mode. So when there's anger, it's more like rage, actually, that I would, if someone's processing a trauma or what have you, I will ask them to spend a little bit longer on this point. It balances and allows in compassion, happiness, safety, acceptance, transformation, and peace. So karate chop point again is used for psychological reversal. So that's why we use this or this as we say the setup statement. Even though I have this, I love and accept myself anyway, because we're often in a place of I'm not going to accept myself until this is no longer in my life. Some sources also say that it's good for loss, difficulty in letting go, sorrow, vulnerability, worry, obsession, and compulsiveness. It's the small intestine meridian. sometimes when someone comes to me with digestive issues, I will have them spend a little longer here for stomach meridian and a little longer here for small intestine. Kind of makes sense when you think of it, right? It balances and allows an ease in moving forward and letting go, healing from grief, and ability to be happy in the present moment. So the next moving on is the thumb, the side of the thumb right by the nail bed, right at the tip of the thumb. And that's the lung meridian. It releases negative thinking, judgment, self-righteousness, also grief and loss. It balances and allows an acceptance of self and others, healing from loss, ability to see and feel the positives in your life and yourself. The next is index finger, which is large intestine. So again, if it's a digestive issue, spend a little longer here. Releases difficulty forgiving the self and letting go of past hurts. So this is also known in EFT, or the world of EFT, as the forgiveness finger. So if someone's working on forgiving someone else or anger towards someone else, I'll have them, maybe tap alternate, tap right index finger, tap left. Tap right index finger, tap left, as you're thinking of that person that you're angry with, even if that person is yourself. It can balance and allow in self-forgiveness, releasing the past, being more joyful and present in the moment. The middle finger is circulation sex meridian, so it releases anger and sexuality issues. Some sources say jealousy, stubbornness, and regret. It balances and allows in bonding, relaxation, generosity, acceptance of self and others. So if I'm working with someone who's maybe experienced sexual abuse in the past and as an adult now, they're finding difficulties in that area of their life, we'll spend a little bit longer on the first finger and the middle finger. So again, it's connected to anger, and culturally we know if we're really angry at someone, we give them that finger. The pinky finger is the heart meridian. So it releases pissy anger, sometimes that irritation. Some sources say overexcitement or overachievement. It balances and allows in unconditional love, forgiveness, compassion, and self-care. The gamut point is triple warmer meridian, so that's that point on the back of your hand between the ring finger and the pinky finger. If you want to, you can tap the side of the ring finger, that's okay too, but we spend a little bit longer here. Pressing and holding, like we said last night, is totally fine. If moving your eyes and tapping your hand is challenging. It can release loopy thinking, obsessing, worrying, when you're constantly replaying a scene or situation from the day or from work. It's a really good way just to press and hold it to tap here. Some sources also say that it's great for depression, despair, grief, hopelessness. Sort of all those things are always kind of in line, right?
So when you're, can I just ask you?
Yeah.
So you say, for example, you're obsessing about something that happened at the day of work or whatever. So you're just thinking about that situation and then you just hold it?
You're pressing and holding.
Oh, okay.
Pressing and holding or tapping, either way. There's other people in the world of EFT have kind of come up with a press and hold technique versus a tapping. And I think it's about finding what works best for everybody, because the clients I've worked with, everybody's a bit different. Some people like one point, some people like another point. Some people find pressing and holding works better. And then coming into the eye movements is really great to let go of that. If it's obsessing about something that's happened during the day, just pressing and holding and doing the eye movements if you can.
And same statement at the same time?
You don't have to.
Okay.
We're saying the setup statement in case there's psychological reversal, in case there's a desire to get rid of it, but also a co-occurring desire to hold on to it for whatever reason. So if I'm pretty confident that psychological reversal isn't present and that someone's number is decreasing, sometimes I'll just skip the setup statement altogether. So this is kind of where we get into moving beyond the basics of EFT, where here's the basic recipe that I gave you last night with the setup statement, the points, the gamut point, procedure, and then the points again. And from that, you can take whatever you like and mix and match kind of thing. And for people that are very structured and like to have it very cut and dry, just stick with the basic recipe and do that. Like if you're stuck on replaying an event from the day, just go do the basic recipe. And if someone likes to kind of branch out and experiment, and they've done lots of these healing techniques already, then go ahead and try 3 or 4 points. Just try finding the point that's in most aligned with what you're working on, just tapping that point. So like you said, you can try both. If you're not getting results, go back to the basic full process. Okay? So top of the head opens crown chakra. So for those of you who are in yoga or teaching yoga or understand, there's the 7 chakras. This, of course, being the chakra of enlightenment. It's also known as the meeting of 10,000 points in Chinese medicine. Okay, so it's a really significant point, and it looks kind of silly, right? I don't expect anyone to go around and start tapping their head as they're in Shoppers Drug Mart or whatever it is that they're doing throughout your day. You're like, hey, how's it going? I'm just balancing and allowing it. So it can open crown chakra. It's a really great point. I like putting in a positive affirmation at the end. Maybe I can choose to see this differently. Maybe I can open up my mind to seeing the situation in a more loving and compassionate light. Maybe I can choose to let this go completely. I love and accept myself anyway. Because we're often focused on the negative as we're tapping down because we want to rebalance and rewire that association. And in the top, it's a good way to say, well, I'd like to view it this way instead. Right? So the thymus point isn't one that I've taught yet to this point, but it's right here in the center. Because usually the collarbone point is here, lymphatic is here. It's right here in the center. It's actually the seat of the immune system. Okay? So it's great to tap on this point daily for just to keep your physical health up and in tune. And in Qigong, you'll often see there's a iron shirt Qigong where you're tapping all the points as you go down, but they will spend a little bit longer right here in the central point. It also helps to anchor and balance new alignment throughout the body. So some people will anchor here, anchoring being I choose to see the situation differently, or I accept myself anyway. You can anchor here too if you don't like tapping on the top of your head. It's a little less obvious, right, then, if you're working on being discreet about it. Okay.
Go to an elevator and just start.
Yeah, the fear of elevators. You're just standing in the elevator amongst other people. Let's go on, just tapping. So, my goal would be for people, in all honesty, to do that, right? To actually have a world where people aren't worried about tapping in front of other people. Ideally, that's what I'd like to see, and supporting one another in the process, and tapping with somebody can, like we said last night, can actually help someone else process something, because we're not separate from anyone or anything. And the reason they've crossed your path that day anyway is because you have something to learn from them or exchange. So, ideally, I'd like everybody tapping, but I think that's a process to get there. Okay, so any questions about those points?
Would this work with children?
Yes.
Like, can children do it?
Yes.
Like of kindergarten age, like 4 and 5-year-old?
Yeah, it's a little, I would just approach it a little differently with children. It's a really good question. A lot of people, I encourage people to use it with kids. If you can imagine, like all the scenarios that we're tapping on now as adults, some of them happened when we were kids, right?
Mm.
So if you can, the only thing I would do differently with kids is I would skip the setup statement, because psychological reversal often doesn't exist at that point in their life. And I wouldn't even say the words necessarily. So if they're upset about something, you can just tap for them, or you can teach them to tap.
Right, okay.
The other thing you can do is get a teddy bear, for example, and just tap on the teddy bear to show them the points. Some of the research that they're still doing in EFT is showing that even if you're tapping on something else or for someone else, there's the same or similar effect. So some people will even use it for pets. So your intention is, even though my pet Shadow is really upset and nervous, maybe they can choose to relax. This nervous feeling, like a thunderstorm comes around and your dog's really upset, you can actually, so some therapists, this is not my specialty, but there's some therapists that are actually specialized in doing it for pets and or for children.
Right.
So by all means, depending on the age group, of course, they might be open to tapping on themselves, or you can tap for them, or you can show them the points on a stuffed animal of some sort. I have mothers that I know that have used it on their children as young as 2. Right? Isn't that great? So you can imagine if a kid's coming home from school and they're being bullied and they're really upset about it, how that's going to affect their life and their experience in the world when they're in their 20s or when they're 30s. They'll probably end up at a workplace where someone's bullying them, right? Because of how we learn that your neural pathway is creating that, and it's almost like it's following you. So if we can eliminate that in childhood and change the reaction to it, even though that person's bullying me, I love and accept myself anyway, maybe I can find the confidence to stand up to him or her. How amazing would that be, right? So, good question. It's huge. It has a lot of potential. If you go back to this first handout that we were working on the 3rd page, lighthearted tonight. So on the third page is a list of affirmations. A lot of people want to know more about how do I do the setup statement. Like, it's so natural and easy when you do it, Carol, and I have no idea what to say, and I don't want to say the right thing. And like we talked about last night, you can always, when in doubt, say, even though I have this problem, and fill that in with your emotion that you're experiencing, I love and accept myself anyway. And so when you've been doing this for a number of years, you kind of get tired of saying, even though I have this problem, I love and accept myself anyway. And lots of other practitioners have kind of branched out and expanded their vocabulary with the setup statement. So even though I have this problem, this emotion, this experience, even though that person said this to me and that really hurt me, you can use any of the following. I choose to, I prefer to, I intend to, I decide to, I embrace, I love feeling, I allow myself to, I feel excited about, I feel grateful for, what if I could, I wonder if I could, I'm going to consider, wouldn't it be fun if? Okay. And the list could be infinite really, but that's a great place to start. You can mix and match with the following. I love and accept myself anyway. I forgive myself for feeling. I know I did the best I could. I accept things just as they are. I'm going to choose to be okay with where I am now. I feel safe. I choose to be at peace. I feel powerful. I'm going to choose to be inspired. I feel calm and confident instead. I trust my inner guidance. I release the need to. I'm going to let go of this guilt, this shame, this resentment, this fear, etc., etc. Does everybody see how we're going to put those together? So I often ask somebody, okay, well, what is it you're feeling? What is the emotion you're experiencing as a result of that memory or the present current situation? What would you like to feel instead? Oh, well, Carol, I'd like to feel this. Okay, well, let's take those two words. Even though I feel this, I love and accept myself anyway, and maybe I could choose to feel this way instead. Now, on the bottom of this handout, you'll see what's called the choices method. This is by Dr. Patricia Carrington, who is a wonderful, wonderful, amazing EFT practitioner in the field, who's kind of come up with the choices method. And that just means using the word choose in the setup statement, basically, okay? So even though I have this feeling or this experience, maybe I can choose to feel this way instead. So if someone comes to me and their experience on that scale of 1 to 10 is a 10, I'm going to say, even though I have this feeling, I love and accept myself anyway. When their anger gets to be below a 5, I might have them say, even though I have this anger, maybe I can choose to see the situation differently and forgive them for what they did. I'm not going to say that when the anger is a 10. And why? Because when you're really angry at someone, the idea of forgiving them is way over here. That's not going to happen. There's no way. I can't even see that, how that's possible right now. When the anger begins to decrease, I'm not going to say, even though I'm really angry at that person, I'm going to forgive them. Because the subconscious mind is like, yeah, I'm not buying that. There's no way. But if the subconscious mind actually really likes the word maybe and likes the word choose, maybe I can choose to see the situation differently. Maybe I could choose to let that anger go and forgive them instead. But again, not until your number's below a 5 or a 4 or even lower on the scale. And because we want to rewire that, again, it's not going to happen when your anger is genuine or when whatever emotion you're working on is really high on that scale of 1 to 10.
Do that again. What's the when it's a 10? What do you say again? And then you add the choose.
When you're at the 10, just use the basic. I love and accept myself anyway. Or I'm gonna open up my mind to maybe letting that feeling go. When it's less than a 5, maybe I can choose to forgive them.
But then it's about them as opposed to about you.
It's not about them versus you. It's about implementing the opposite feeling. So even though I have this sadness, maybe I could choose to be happy instead. But that's really far away when your sadness is a 10 and someone's crying and they're devastated. I'm not going to use that setup statement because there's too far from that. When the sadness begins to decrease to a 4 or 5, I'll add in maybe I could choose to be happy instead.
Or maybe I'll choose to forgive them. Or maybe
right. If someone's extremely nervous, like so nervous that they're completely overwhelmed by the idea of public speaking, I'm not going to, and it's a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, even though I have this nervous feeling, I love and accept myself anyway. When it gets below a 5, Even though I have this nervous feeling, maybe I can choose to feel calm and confident instead. So you're just looking, you're implementing the opposite once the number gets below a 5. Make sense? The other thing that Patricia Carrington, there's a couple examples here, right? Even though I have this excess weight, maybe I can choose to feel trim and healthy, or maybe I can choose to love and accept my body. Even though I'm struggling in school, maybe I can choose to be in the top 10% of my class. Even though I have elevated blood pressure above 140, maybe I can choose to develop normal blood pressure. And these are things that you would tap on every day, right? Even though I have this anger, maybe I could choose to see the other person's point of view. So sometimes that setup statement allows us to kind of slowly and gently reframe the situation that we are working on or experiencing. The other thing that we talked about briefly last night was doing 3 rounds of tapping, with the first round being on the negative, the second round being on the positive, and the third round being alternating. So first round negative, second round positive, third round alternating. Negative, positive, negative, positive. And again, the reason that we want to do that, let's say we're below a 5, let's say we're working on nervous feeling and we want to feel calm and confident instead. On that scale of 1 to 10, our number's below a 5 now. But the first round would look, let's do it together, and it'll actually sink in a little bit better, you'll be able to retain it a bit more through doing. So even though I have this nervous feeling, maybe I can choose to feel calm and confident instead.
Maybe I can choose to feel calm and confident instead.
Even though I have this nervous feeling, maybe I can choose to feel calm and confident instead.
Maybe I can choose to feel calm and confident instead.
Even though I have this nervous feeling,
Even though I have this nervous feeling,
maybe I can choose to feel calm and confident instead.
maybe I can choose to feel calm and confident instead.
Inner part of the eyebrow, nervous feeling.
Nervous feeling,
This nervous feeling.
nervous feeling,
Nervous feeling. Nervous feeling. This nervous feeling.
nervous feeling,
Oh, that makes me nervous.
nervous,
Oh, that really makes me nervous.
nervous,
That makes me nervous. Getting up in front of those people. Ah, that makes me nervous. This nervous feeling. This nervous feeling. Maybe I can choose to feel calm and confident instead.
Maybe I can choose to feel calm and confident instead.
Calm and confident instead.
Calm and confident instead.
Calm and confident.
Calm and confident.
Relax in front of those people.
Relax in front of those people.
Calm in front of those people.
Calm in front of those people.
Confident in front of those people.
Confident in front of those people.
Relaxed and confident.
Relaxed and confident.
Calm and confident.
Calm and confident.
Calm and relaxed.
Calm and relaxed.
I feel good about what I'm doing.
Feel good about what you're doing.
I think I can handle that.
I think I can handle that.
Calm and confident instead.
Calm and confident instead.
Now we're going to alternate positive, negative, okay? So this nervous feeling.
This nervous feeling.
Calm and confident instead.
Calm and confident instead.
Nervous feeling.
Nervous feeling.
Calm and relaxed.
Calm and relaxed.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
Yeah, I think I can handle it.
I think I can handle it.
Calm and relaxed.
Calm and relaxed.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
I'm going to feel calm and relaxed instead.
I'm gonna go calm and relaxed instead.
This nervous feeling.
This nervous feeling.
Pinky finger, calm and relaxed instead.
Calm and relaxed.
This nervous feeling.
This nervous feeling.
I don't know.
Oh.
Choosing to feel calm and confident instead.
Choosing to feel calm and confident instead.
Opening up my mind
Opening up my mind
to see the situation differently.
to see the situation differently.
Good. Deep full breath in and out. So the next time you think of the scenario that makes you nervous, your next instant thought will likely be, if you continue, if not one round, if you continue with the rounds, will be calm. I can do this. I can do this. And what I'll often get people to do is switch images in your mind. So if you have an instance where you have been calm and confident before, maybe it was something completely different, like you've got to get up and you're nervous about getting up in front of a group of people, but there was another scenario for whatever reason that you're really confident and calm and feel good, and it's a different scenario, maybe it's at home or a different workplace or whatever, I want you to begin to link those two images together, because in your brain what's happening is you're linking this feeling with this one. So this neural pathway gets linked to this one, and it begins to just shift and change. Yeah? Does everybody see how that works? And if you don't have any experiences where you do feel calm and confident or relaxed or capable in whatever it is that you're doing, then just imagine one. Just make it up. Because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So if you're lying in bed thinking about something that's, let's say you hear a noise and you're home alone and you think, oh my God, there's a burglar in the house, or oh my God, there's someone breaking into my house. What happens to your physical body? Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure increases, you feel nervous in your stomach, you can feel your heart pounding, and then you realize it was just the cat. And so all of those things begin to change, right? What's happening in the body actually just reacts constantly, 24/7. Your body's just reacting to whatever it is you're thinking. And often what we're thinking about is something that happened a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or last week, or earlier today. Or we're thinking about the future. We're not necessarily in the moment or in the present moment, as we encourage you to do through the process of yoga, right? We're always just be here and right now. And here, right now, I'm safe and all is well. So we try to stay in the now as much as we can. But if you're not and the mind is wandering, the body's just reacting to whatever it is you're thinking about. And if you're thinking about something that hasn't happened, or you're just imagining that something bad is going to happen tomorrow or Tuesday when you go into work, or you're just imagining something bad or remembering something bad from the past, your body has no idea whether or not that's actually happening in this present moment. So there's good news and bad news. If you're not able to be aware of where the thoughts are wandering all day long, your body's just constantly reacting to maybe some negative thought patterns. Or maybe you're feeling nervous for everything in the present moment is perfectly fine. The upside to that, the flip side to that, is if you just imagined a really relaxing scene, or if you just imagine being in your dream place or your dream home, or things working out for you in the future, what happens in the physical body is it relaxes and it creates the same feeling or sensation as if it's happening right now. I think that's priceless. Now, we're often too busy just running around with our old habits of doing what we're doing, but there's lots of potential. There's lots of potential in that once we learn to settle, once we learn to meditate, and it's a process. It takes years for most people, and that's okay. Imagine what you can accomplish in a lifetime, right? So just about practicing a little bit every day, focusing my attention a little bit every day on what I'd like to feel. What would I like to feel? Most people haven't even had that thought at any point in their life. I'm just so used to feeling bad or so used to reacting to my external environment, I've never really shifted my attention to what would I like to feel. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so once you are able to identify, if you don't have any scenarios or situations in your life where you've experienced that, then just imagine it. Because your body doesn't know the difference. Which I think is great. Okay. It's after 10 already. Maybe we'll just do maybe just a few minutes more, and then we'll take a break to enjoy the sunshine. We're going to do some tabletops tonight. There's some tabletops in your handouts. Tabletops is a bit, of course, if we're going to imagine a table like we have here, there's 4 legs in the table. What we're going to be looking for tonight is belief systems that we've cultivated or developed via our reactions to our external world from this point forward, from the point that we got here to now. What beliefs do I have about other people, places, and things in my life? More particularly, what are your beliefs about yourself? And so when we look at that belief, it's actually like the tabletop. Okay? The table legs are the events in your life that have contributed to that tabletop. So this happened in my life as a child, and then something similar happened when I was an adult, and this happened in my life as an adult, and this happened in my life as an adult. So now I've come to believe that this about myself. Okay? Some people, when they first do EFT, they tap on the tabletop. Okay? So for example, let's say it's a low self-esteem tabletop, and it's because this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And most people will tap on even though I have this low self-esteem, or even though I don't like this aspect of myself, or whatever it is, which is much more difficult to alleviate in terms of EFT. If you're looking for permanent change with EFT and continuing to work with it, you need to tap on the table legs. Okay, so tonight I'll walk through, maybe if there's only a few of us, we can walk through them one at a time. And so we'll identify some legs. We're going to scale each leg. You'll tap on the leg until it's a 0, until it disappears. And what would happen to the table if I took out all 4 table legs? It would collapse. Wouldn't that be lovely? So you can tap on the tabletop if you wanted, but it's something that you would tap on every day. Unfortunately, what happens, it's like, you know when you go gardening, if you're going to go out in the garden, you're gardening, there's some weeds. You can take the weed off from the top, but what happens? It just grows back. Is it likely to grow back if you dig deep and pull it out from the roots? Not as much. Not as much. So getting at the table legs to collapse the tabletop or the belief system is the best way to approach EFT. So it's that forest and trees example. Remember we talked about the forest last night? I had this forest of whatever, and there's different trees in that forest. The more trees that you cut down, the forest will disappear. It's the same example with the tabletop. It's just a little bit easier to visualize. The next thing I want you to visualize is a tabletop on top of a table. So most of us have a table from childhood, events that happened, beliefs that we developed, sometimes about men or women, i.e. mother or father. And then we built another table on top of that when we got to be an adult, right? So there's table legs again, events that happened as an adult that contributed to this belief system. Yeah, so EFT is really one of the fastest techniques that I've had, you know, working as a social worker and as a counselor with clients. But again, there's still a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of layers to it. So for those who just want to use it every day to relax a little bit, don't worry about the tabletops. If you're looking to create significant change in your life because you've experienced a lot of things that have led to a lot of negative belief systems, we're going to break it down and do the tabletops and look at it from that perspective. Does that make sense? Everyone's thinking, I wonder what my table looks like.
Yeah, which one should I pick?
Yeah, I got a whole room full of tables.
Yeah.
And we all do, right? And everybody's table looks different. So, and at the same time, let's remember that we all have tables that are serving us. We all have events that were really positive and affirming for us in our life. I had this experience and this experience and this experience, which led me to think, I'm really good at public speaking. Or we've had other experiences that we've kind of built on. So yeah, we might have some negative tables that we need to dismantle, but we all have really positive tabletops there, you know, because we all have both. So we'll dismantle some tables tonight.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm around all day if anybody has any questions. For now, let's get outside.